My top 20 films of 2019 are now on the website, movieshowplus.com, and I urge you to check out the full list. But paring it down for TV, here are my top 10 films of 2019. Number 10 is The Irishman. What a legendary union of talent. Scorsese, Pacino, De Niro, Pesci, all giving their best efforts in several decades and culminating in one of the most talked about movies of the year. Yes, it's long, and yes, Scorsese gets a bit distracted at times, but it is never dull. Number 9 is the emotional family drama Waves. What a year for Sterling K. Brown, but it's the young actors that steal the show in Waves. Both Kelvin Harrison Jr. and Taylor Russell are destined to be A-list stars, and their performances make the impact of Waves all the more powerful. Waves will sneak up on you and it'll knock you over. It's one of the best films of the year. It's on my list. There is no question that I haven't seen two better performances this year than Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story. Noah Baumbach's script and Randy Newman's score may be the best I've witnessed as well. But for how powerful this movie was, it fell just short of greatness for me with how it seemed to tidy things up just a bit too cleanly at the end. Even still, Marriage Story is probably the most real film on this list. Greta Gerwig, the glorious actor who has now crossed over into the realm of a great director, brings a story to the big screen that we've seen several times. Yet, no other version of Little Women even comes close to the impact of this one. Breakout star of 2019 Florence Pugh, along with Saoirse Ronan and Timothée Chalamet, breathe new life into these classic characters, and Gerwig spins the familiar with a confidence that invigorates this beloved novel. You know the world has gone completely topsy-turvy when Adam Sandler is popping up on best performances of the year lists. But he deserves every bit of praise that he's getting for Uncut Gems, a role that he absolutely owns and that is perfectly suited for him. But his performance is just one facet of this gem, as the Safdie brothers give us one of the most effective mood pieces of the year. It's also a high-wire act of tension and thrills that somehow sustains itself for the duration of the film. It's a real achievement. It's the best movie you never saw or even possibly heard of in 2019, and that's a real shame. Giant Little Ones puts a new spin on the coming out story, but this is one that exists entirely in gray area. It stars unknown actors for the most part, with Josh Wiggins in the lead, but wow, if critics had only seen Kyle MacLachlan's supporting role in this film, he'd have been a shoo-in for award consideration. Being a film critic is never more rewarding than when we can champion a small film, with hopes that it garners more attention and hopefully more people will see it. For me, I stand tall and proud with my love of Giant Little Ones and hope you seek it out. It's available currently on a few different streaming platforms and is worthy of your time. Every year there's a handful of films that I seem to enjoy way more than the rest of my movie critic peers, but hey, I'm still just a kid at heart who loves and loves and loves his movies. My list would not have been complete this year had I not included Alita: Battle Angel, a movie that absolutely knocked my socks off and was by far the most fun I had at the movies in quite a long time. And while critics on Rotten Tomatoes only barely rate this as a fresh movie with a score of 61%, general moviegoing audiences seem to love it. Its audience score stands at 93%. Maybe that's why there's currently an online petition from fans to get a sequel made. I, for one, thought this movie might have been the closest thing that this generation has to Star Wars, and I'd love to fall into this world all over again. This is what going to the movies is all about. Lulu Wang's The Farewell is a flawless film. It's funny and smart, led by Awkwafina, Jima, and Zhao Zhuzhen, and it's the year's best overall ensemble cast. I also love how it subtly educates the viewer along the way, where you start off believing one thing, but slowly have your eyes opened to new angles of looking at life. And this sort of open-mindedness is sorely needed in today's world. One of the biggest travesties of the 2019 awards season is how The Nightingale is being left out of the conversation. In some ways, it's no surprise. The brutal, nearly unbearable first half is so intense that the movie studio, IFC Films, told critics ahead of time that they were not to discuss any detail in the first 30 minutes. They were afraid if they did, nobody would come to see the movie. But The Nightingale isn't out for shock value or to egregiously exploit. It's a revenge movie about a woman standing up for herself and her family, written and directed by one of the most proficient new talents in Hollywood, Jennifer Kent, who recently brought us The Babadook. Aisling Franciosi is simply outstanding, and gives the best female performance of the year by anyone not named Scarlett Johansson. It's like nothing else you'll see this year, or any year, and it is absolutely haunting. If you've been paying attention at all to the year-end award season, you've undoubtedly heard of Bong Joon-ho's Parasite by now. Well, let me just pile on. The most impressive thing about Parasite is the ease in which Joon-ho transitions this film from screwball comedy to drama to thriller to something more. Others have said it, and I'll echo the sentiment. Parasite is best seen going in not knowing much about it. It has a lot to say and is packaged in such a way where, like its title, it finds a way to latch on and then burrows down deep inside of your very soul. So with that, just know that it's the best film of 2019. So there you have it, my favorite films of the year. I hope that the mail stays positive when you guys are emailing me your opinions of these movies.